I'm going to show you how you can convert your crappy throttle body fuel injection to a brand new carburetor. It's so simple. Okay, this is my 1947 Chevy. It was built on a 1991 GMC Sonoma chassis. So I have the Sonoma 4.3 and 700 R4 transmission. The factory TBI was becoming a nightmare, so I hunted around for a while to get a different intake so I could swap to a carburetor, but they're too expensive, and I got too many other cars to blow money on, so spending $300–400 on a intake for a V6 wasn't really in my budget. So I found this adapter plate off of eBay. It was $43, I think, which was a great deal. And on the ad it said it would work for a Holley 2-barrel. So I knew that the Ford 2100 carb would work. And you can buy these carbs for $80 brand new. So I got that brand new too. You got to kind of adjust, you know, put some different linkage holes in it for the throttle, and then this being a 700 R4, it has a kickdown, so I had to make a little bracket that came off of the linkage there for the kickdown. And also the linkage rubs on the side of the spacer, so you got to grind this out a little bit. It won't affect it. It's a pretty thick and wide spacer. And then also on the front, well, it's kind of tough to see, but right down in there where the adapter bolt is, you got to grind the head off a little bit on that. Otherwise it rubs on the carb there. Yeah, that's it for the carb. The distributor I bought off of eBay too. It was like $77. You can get them for less, but I bought the one with plug wires and it was only $20 more. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. A set of plug wires for 20 bucks is a pretty good deal. I don't think, you know, the part stores are that low anymore on them. But with that distributor, anyway, the factory Egr valve and then your oil pressure sender won't fit anymore. So I made a little block off plate for the Egr valve. I just bought a new gasket, traced it on some steel and cut it out and drilled some holes, and that sealed that up perfect. The oil pressure sender hole, I just went into a hardware store and got a little pipe thread fitting plug and put that in there. At some point I'll put a oil pressure gauge, I guess, back where that was. And I got a little fuel pressure gauge too, just because the fuel pump I bought was extremely cheap. Well, it was 20 bucks, but I was always worried that maybe it wasn't going to make enough PSI, but it stays right at 5. So I've never seen the fuel filter go dry, so I know that the pump's working good. I had a lot of trouble trying to find where you set the timing. Nobody really knew, and I was just having a heck of a time trying to find anything about trying to set the timing on a carbureted 4.3. But I set mine. It's kind of tough to see, but I made a little black line on the timing tab where I have mine set, and that's where it seems to work the best right there. It doesn't ping, but I could never get it to ping before that, because normally on a weird swap like this, I would set the timing. I'd kind of get to the ping and then I'd back it off 2 or 3 degrees, and then I'd kind of double check with the timing light. But this motor I could never get to ping, so I just kind of had to guess. But I don't know, that's where it seemed to run the best, basically. The fuel pump, the new inline fuel pump I ran basically right down there where the factory S10 fuel filter was located, along the inside of the frame rail. I used the same mounting holes and everything, and just pulled that up right there. And the factory fuel pump I took out, and then I just ran a piece of new fuel line in line to the bottom of the tank. And I used the factory filter, the little sock looking filter on the end of the fuel line too, just to kind of help so it didn't pick up too much gunk from the bottom of the tank. And the other good thing about swapping to a carb, my little flamethrower there I'm sure will work a lot better. It never worked before with that fuel injection. It just didn't put out enough gas, but now I'm sure I'll be able to load it up full of fuel and hit my little switch and make a little fire coming out. But I'll start it up for you, that way you can hear it. That door is noisy. Yep, it runs great. Runs so much better. Yeah, if you like the video or maybe you learned something, hit that like and subscribe.